जतिन, मेरा क्लास स्टार्ट हो गया है। Okay. Good afternoon, guys. Let them join when they will join in between. So we'll start. Okay. So in last class, we have stopped here regarding the pharmacokinetic metabolism. So we have seen distribution, different barriers, and about the biotransformation two phases like phase one and phase two. Okay. So again, I'll just give you brief about that we have seen about the distribution. Okay, in distribution, you have seen that you have like various process, like how the drug will systemically will go into the circulation and then it will be distributed, and then apart depending upon this form, like ionized or unionized, it will be distributed to the different organ. Okay, then we have seen the different barriers, like we have seen placental barrier, blood brain barrier, first pass hepatic metabolism. Okay, so all those things we have seen in that. And apart from that, we have seen the some of the thing in the metabolism, that is phase 1 and phase 2, which is also known as biotransformation reactions. Okay, so this reaction mainly based upon the is like is moiety, like it could be a hydroxyl moiety or conjugation or glutathione. Okay, so depending upon that they will go and metabolize. Okay, and again we have seen in that different enzymes, okay, which will be responsible for enhancing the metabolism. In that we have seen the one of the example of enzyme, which is the main, which is known as cytochrome P450. Okay, so we have seen apart from that cytochrome P450, we have seen its subfamilies also. Okay, like cytochrome PA26. Okay, all those things we have seen. Okay, so then we have seen the some of the reaction like enzyme inducer and enzyme inhibitor. Okay, so in this we have seen the enzyme inducer are the some of the drugs which can enhance the one of the other drug activity with the help of enzyme, and enzyme inhibitor are one of the enzyme which will inhibit the effect of another drug with the presence of enzyme. So we can take one of the example in last class I have missed. So I will give you one of the example like phenobarbital induce, like microsomal enzyme inducer and enzyme inhibitor activity on phenobarbital induced sleeping time. Okay, so if you are giving the one drug with the same like enzyme inducer, okay, which will enhance, if the drug will remain the same, it will, yeah, it will enhance the activity of the other drug. But when it's having the antagonist drug, okay, or which is you can call as enzyme inhibitor, okay, so they will be delaying the effect of another drug by having the effect of the enzyme. Okay, this is what will happen in the enzyme inducer and enzyme inhibitor. Okay, so here again we'll see the last part of the pharmacokinetic, which is nothing but excretion of drug or elimination of drug with the different route, like depending upon the is ionized, unionized, solubility, or lipophilic, hydrophilic. Okay, depending upon that drug may eliminate. Okay, so you know, like there are not only the two route of excretion are there, like we have just common thing in our mind, either drug will pass through the renal or otherwise biliary. You have apart from that other route like saliva, okay, like secretion, okay, pulmonary, sweating. Okay, so this all are the part of the excretion of the drug. But again, the path which the drug will choose for elimination, it will be depending upon the drug physiochemical property. Okay, so therefore drug may choose is path how to they will eliminate. Okay, so here we have seen the we'll see like passage of systemically absorbed and metabolize drug from internal environment to the external environment. Obviously, like elimination, nothing but the drug which will be absorbed and metabolized from the internal environment, and then they will pass through the external environment. Okay, so this is nothing but it will terminate the pharmacological action of the drug. So once drug will eliminate, your pharmacology or whatever the effect will you see, it will be goes off. Okay, and apart from that, it will also determine the duration of action and help in the adjusting the dose of the drug. Okay, so whatever drug, like suppose you are taking the like drug like parental drug, so you may see there will be a faster absorption, faster distribution, faster metabolism, and the same time it will be eliminate. Okay, so and you will compare with the oral dosage from, there will be a delay in the absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. So it will be depending upon the is drug. Okay, so which route you are giving, and it will be also helpful in the adjusting the dose, because you know, like if the drug is not going to eliminate from the body, there is a chance of accumulation in the body. And if accumulation is there, if some drug will be there, I'll just add on one point here, some drug will be there, they are the reversibly reabsorb in the kidney. Okay, so they may not go once in a time or once in a flow to eliminate from the kidney. Okay, they will be reversibly reabsorb and they will again show the effect. And if you are taking same time another drug, so there will be a chance of accumulation. Okay, so this is what you need to keep in mind. See, first we'll see renal elimination of drug. So renal elimination of drug mainly done by the kidney, and drug and its metabolites are eliminated in the urine. Okay. So one of, see, you can see many of time if drug is getting excreted or not. Okay. One of the drug is like you can say for the diarrhea. Okay. One drug will be there. If you are taking that drug, if if it is going to eliminate, so you can see a dark pale color urine. Okay, so it can indicate that drug is excreted from the body. Okay, sometimes what will happen, sometimes some people will take the antibiotic. Okay, so you can see the antibiotic when you are coughing or that pulmonary and you have so much what you can sweating that time. Okay, when you take antibodies or and all those things, so you can see your drug will be having the some of the effect and it will be eliminated. Okay, so this is how you can identify. Okay, then you have, then there is the one more thing is that like drug uh, like there it is a one of the primary route of majority of drugs. Okay, and that all water soluble non volatile drugs are eliminated by this route. So you can see which kind of drug can be eliminated. So water soluble non volatile drugs are eliminated by this route. Okay, and elimination of drug is controlled by the glomerular filtration rate, tubular reabsorption, active tubular secretion. Okay, so mainly these three steps will take place when you are seeing or when you are understanding the elimination of drug via kidney. So there will be a three step. Okay, glomerular filtration rate, tubular reabsorption, and active tubular secretion. And any physiological disturbance will be there, it will disturb the elimination of drug. Okay, kidney problems. Okay, need for dose adjustment, chance of adverse effect. Okay, so you can see some of the example like acetazolamide. Okay, hydrochlorothiazide, salicylate, atropine. Okay, so these are the example. Then extra renal elimination of drug. So apart from that, renal, there will be chance like biliary excretion. Okay, drug or its metabolites are removed in the feces with bile secreted at 1 liter per day. Several drugs are eliminated by this route. Example, you have heavy metal, cardiac glycoside, several anionic and cationic drugs. Okay, so in this like I just want to add, I think you guys know, like if any person whose kidneys are functioning properly, so there will be a GFR is not less than 1.5 liter per day. Okay, so you can identify if some person having the less GFR, so there will be a chance of some renal damage or some renal parenchymal disease or all those things. So apart from this renal, if there is a major route of excretion which is also known as biliary excretion. So then you have enterohepatic recirculation of drug or metabolite. Okay, drug or metabolite secreted from the liver, bile, or then through the small intestine are not eliminated in the feces. Okay, they are recycled and then recirculated and prolong the stay possibility the effect also. So they are likely to eliminated through the urine. For example, you can take vitamins. Okay, so as I said about the in the renal they think some of the drug will be there, they will be reabsorbed or into the, and again the accumulation will be take place in the kidney. So same thing will be there in the enterohepatic recirculation. So some drug will be there, they will not eliminate and they will again reabsorb and recirculation, and then you can see the possible effect of the drug. Okay, then pulmonary excretion. So drug, like suppose some of the drug like meter aerosol and all those things, and some of the spray, nasal spray, all those things. So and those who are having in the form of gas. Okay, they contain volatile oil, inflammable material. Okay, these are the eliminated by this route. Okay, since the lungs get good cardiac output. Okay, so greater chance of elimination of drug. Then you have skin, sweat, and milk, and these are the limited excretion, but it will be considered as a potential site. Okay, and then heavy metals like arsenic by sweat. Okay, alkaline or basic drugs are likely to be eliminated in the secreted milk by nursing mother. Okay, so here are just 4 or 5 excretion route I have mentioned. So you can go through this slide, I'll share with you. So this is what you have the basic concept, like what you now you are going to see about this toxicokinetic. Okay, so in that toxicokinetic, same thing will be there. Only thing is there, what we are dealing here is a pharmacokinetic, that is drug. There we are going to deal with the toxic agent. Okay, just general thing which you need to know is the basic of the pharmacokinetics. Okay, I'll share that slide. Okay, so these are the toxicokinetic. Okay, toxicokinetics nothing but which deal with the absorption, distribution, biotransformation and excretion of chemicals. Okay, so whatever we have studied in the pharmacokinetic, the same thing. Okay, in the toxicokinetic also. So in toxicokinetic, you will see like absorption. Okay, first one, ADME process. So absorption nothing but it is the process by which the chemical enters the body, and it also depends on the route of administration. Okay, so why here again depend on the route of administration, because so many times what will happen, some people will by chance or by choice, like you will see many of patient or many of person though who are on the addictive substance. Okay, like heroin, cocaine or morphine kind of drugs, so they will take directly into the intravenous route. Okay, and some of people will be having this substance like LSD. Okay, lysergic acid derivative. Okay, so they will inhale all those things. Okay, so and some people will take the phenobarbital or alprazolam like drug via orally. Okay, so all these three category I just gave you example. So three different route of administration. Okay, so all these three different route of drug administration may show the different effect at the different time interval. See, when some people are taking any toxic substance via the intravenous route, so obviously they may have the faster effect when you compare to the oral route. Okay, and inhalation route. And if you are comparing, if you are taking any substance via inhalation route, you have seen many of person who are on addiction, okay, of any kind of toxic substance. Sometimes they will smell this petrol. Okay, sometimes they will smell this fevicol and all those things. Okay, so they may having very bad habit of this inhaling this kind of substance. So when these people are smelling or inhaling this kind of substance, they may have again faster onset of effect when you are comparing to the oral route. Okay, so but when you are taking any drugs or any pills or any syrup formulation or any, like syrup formulation, why I mention, because many of people who will take this cough syrup which is consist of the codeine phosphate. Okay, which is consist of codeine phosphate, they will consume as a addictive drug. Okay, so now you know, like many of people who are who many of medical store, you will not get this codeine sulfate syrup is simply as a OTC product. Now you require the prescription. If you remember, one of the Indian cricketer like Amish Shah, Prithvi Shaw. Okay, so that Prithvi Shaw was suspended for 8 months. Okay, right, 8 months for the from the cricket he uh, because he like consumed by chance this terbutaline and codeine sulfate syrup combination for the cough, but he was not knowing that this policy. Okay, that this will be considered as a addictive substance. Okay, so therefore some of the substance will be like this. So if you are taking any kind of syrup and drug, okay, so this cough syrup and any kind of tablet like alprazolam, if you are taking in the higher quantity, okay, so what will happen, this may show the potent effect immediately. Okay, but when you are taking into the normal dose, okay, like see, if some substance will be considered toxic when you are taking in a overdose, But again, like if you are taking the more amount or more concentrate drug, so it will be also having the faster absorption rate. Okay, so this is what is all up depends upon the route of administration. Okay, see, oral route. Okay, the GIT is the most important route of absorption, as most acute poisoning involve injection. Okay, so here I mentioned the acute poisoning. Okay, so acute poisoning nothing but immediate, like which like as I told you just now example. See, some people will take some of the drugs by chance or by choice immediate in a overdose, so it may lead them to the acute poisoning. Okay, and this will be always be done into the gastrointestinal tract. Okay, then you have the second option is the dermal route. Okay, so in dermal route, lipid solubility of a substance is an important factor affecting the degree of absorption through the skin. Okay, so anyhow, like you guys know better like about the this dermal route. Okay, see, whenever any person who are implementing any skin ointment or any kind of thing, or those who are working in the pesticide industry or insecticide or repellent industry, so there will be a chance, like when they are working, so there will be chance that they will contaminate with this kind of agent on their skin. Okay, so what will happen if they are going to contaminate on the skin, so it will be not leading to the acute poisoning. Okay, it may lead to the chronic poisoning, because there are chance of that there is a slow development of a particular drug into the skin. Okay, because your drug should pass through the whole layer of the skin, and again it's all depend upon the their solubility. Okay, if drug is whatever ointment or whatever pesticide or insecticide you are using, it should be having the, or it should be penetrate through the skin, so therefore it may show the chronic poisoning, because it may take a longer period of time. Then you have third route is inhalation route. Okay, so inhalation route, some of the person who are working in the fume industry or some heavy metal industry, okay, where they will deal with the toxic fume, particulate and noxious gases. Okay, so this may lead to the again into the chronic kind of poisoning. Okay, and which will be absorbed through the lungs. So we have seen three routes: oral, dermal and inhalation route. So all these three route depend, like last two route like inhalation and dermal route mainly go to the that kind of person who are working in the industry where they are dealing with the pesticide spray or toxic fume or gases. Okay, like some of the gases like nitric oxide and all those things, so that persons are on the risk or prone for the chronic poisoning which will be involved here. Okay, the second part of this toxicokinetic is bioavailability. Okay, so bioavailability nothing but is the fraction of unchanged drug reaching into the systemic circulation following of a non-vascular administration. Okay, see, whenever you are taking any drug, it will be directly going into your stomach in the unchanged form, as same it is there. You will see in the your stomach or either into your small intestine or large intestine, so there it may going into the changing, like fraction will go and change. Okay, until unless it is considered as a fraction of unchanged drug which is reaching to the systemic circulation. Okay, therefore what will happen, a portion of the chemical fails to reach the systemic circulation in original form after oral administration. Okay, so this is what will happen. Okay, then you have distribution. Okay, so distribution nothing but it is defined as the apparent volume into which a substance is distributed. Okay, apparent volume nothing but just above you can see the bioavailability. Okay, so unchanged form. Okay, so then you can see the third line, see portion of chemical which is failed to reach the system, means it is not like total volume of drug. Like for example, if you are taking 10 mg of drug, so your 10 mg of drug is not going to distribute it. Okay, so what will happen when you are taking via the oral route, so there will be chance that it may go into the first pass hepatic metabolism, all those things will be there, and there will be chance that whatever 10 mg you have consumed, so first like it may changes into the circulation, and then it may reach to the like near to the 6 to 7 mg of drug to the particular site. Okay, so here you can see that volume of distribution is calculated from the dose taken and the resulting plasma concentration. Okay, so whenever any person who consume, so they will be identified that how much drug is into the person body via the using the uh, plasma as a standard substance. Then they will identify that how much drug is consumed. So you can calculate like volume of distribution is equal to dose divided by the plasma concentration. Okay. See, what is the importance of the volume of distribution in toxicology? Okay, so it will be, first of all, it will be identifying in the peak blood concentration of chemical taken. So obviously you can identify with the plasma substance, like how much substance is there in the patient's blood, and it will be also helpful in the calculating the amount of substance in the body to verify the quantity ingested. Okay, so you can easily identify and diagnose that patient after once you will verify the how much quantity is ingested and present to the human body. Okay, and this it will be also helpful in the deciding whether to apply systemic toxic elimination technique or not. Okay, so you know what are the different systemic toxic elimination. So we have discussed earlier, like by using the catheter, okay, or by using the syrup of epicac and all those things. Okay, so it will be also help, and sometimes with the help of saline solution, all those things you need to uh, identify, or you need to decide like whichever technique will be helpful with the help of the identifying the volume of distribution of the substance which has been consumed. Okay, then what are the factors which are determining the rate of distribution of chemical in the body? So there are various factors. First of all, protein binding. Okay, so protein binding nothing but with the chemicals which are highly bound to protein have small volume of distribution. Obviously the chemical which are highly bound to the proteins, as you know, like in protein you have inter and intra bonding of the chemicals, so there will be a chance that some of the chemical may bind to the intramolecule. Okay, and there will be some chance of the molecule to bind the intermolecule. Okay, okay, so what will happen in this condition, if some of the drugs, okay, or chemicals, okay, which are highly bound to them, so it may lead to the small volume of distribution, because there is a chance of the drug to get bind to the intra binding. Then you have plasma concentration. Okay, so second factor is like plasma concentration, that when the volume of distribution of chemical is small, most of the chemical remains in the plasma. Okay, so when the volume of distribution of chemical is small, most, okay, so it's like first factor if we consider like protein binding. So once there is a like small volume of distribution of protein will be there, so what will happen, then there will be a chance of that most of the chemical they may be remain in the plasma, because what will happen, some of the molecule might be binding to the intra protein binding or intramoiety of the any of tissue. Okay, so this is what there will be chance that they may maybe stay in the plasma only. Okay, the third factor will be there, which is known as physiological barrier. Okay, so this chemical will not uniformly distributed to body due to specialized barrier. Okay, so example is blood brain barrier. Okay, so yesterday we have seen like in last class we have seen, okay, about the blood brain barrier. So blood brain barrier is one of the barrier which will be considered sometimes safer for the brain. Okay, because most of the drug like which will be stopped at the blood brain barrier, and it may not allow the drug or any chemical to cross this blood brain barrier until unless they are specific or their specific solubility to that particular variant. Okay, so these are the three factors which will be helpful in the determining the volume of distribution. Okay, the next thing is you will see in the toxicokinetic is that biotransformation. Okay, so this biotransformation nothing but it is the biochemical transformation of a chemical, or it is the process by which the body transform a chemical and make it more water soluble, so the chemical can be eliminated more rapidly via the kidney into the urine. Okay, and then biotransformation can produce metabolites, they are pharmacologically active and toxic. Okay, so here we need to understand that, like, it is the one of the process, okay, which will be helpful in the for the chemical to convert them into the more water soluble, so it may eliminate from the body via the kidney. Okay, the second thing we need to understand here, that sometime what will happen, like in metabolism, as you have seen in the pharmacokinetic, there are two phases, okay, phase 1 and phase 2. So in we have seen in the phase 1 there are different type of reaction, for example oxidation. Okay, in phase 2 you have again seen the different kind of reaction, for example reduction, glutathione, and all those things. Okay, so what will happen, so if any kind of molecule or any kind of toxic substance which any person who have consumed, okay, so depending upon its activity, okay, or any kind of moiety, so they will convert them into the more pharmacological active substance. If there is a more pharmacological, if that substance is not going to eliminate, if it is not going to convert it into the more water soluble, so there is a chance for accumulation into body and it may lead to the toxicity. Okay, for example you can see parathion. Okay, so parathion is a general compound. When it go into the body, it may bio metabolize into the parathoxone, okay, which is considered as a toxic metabolite. And major site for biotransformation of many chemical is liver. Okay, and then other organs which are involved are lungs, kidney, and skin. Okay, so there will be again depend upon the which kind of drug and which kind of toxic substance. Okay, so depending upon that, it will uh, it will be helpful, like which kind of organ will be uh, organ will be responsible for the metabolism. Okay, so there are two phases of biotransformation. Okay, phase 1, okay, the drug is converted into more polar compound, like example oxidation, reduction, and hydrolysis. Okay, then you have phase 2, conjugation, okay, and glutathione, hydrox this one glutathione conjugation and all those things reaction will be take place into the phase 2. A drug or its metabolite is conjugated with an endogenous substance, for example glucuronide conjugate. Okay, in phase 1 there will be a conversion into more polar compound. In phase 2 there is a conversion or there is a or binding with the endogenous substance. Okay, the next thing we'll see enzyme inhibition. See the same thing what you have seen in the pharmacokinetic only. See, in enzyme inhibition, nothing but by this the biotransformation of drug is delay and it will be lead to the increase in the toxicity. Okay, so like obviously if some drug is or some toxic substance or parallelly two compound, okay, or you can or you can take an example like this. Okay, see if you are taking any, if by chance or by choice any toxic substance or the if any drug is given, so what will, if the drug is not properly uh, recorded, okay, or means I mean to say if drug is not kind of the drug which will be inducing that inducing the substance from the body, but what will happen, the drug if there is a antagonist, okay, so what they are going to do, they are going to inhibit, they are going to delaying their uh, elimination from the body, and they may stay in your body for the prolonged period of time. Okay, so this may again lead to the toxicity. Enzyme induction. Okay, so by this the biotransformation of drug is accelerated and it causes therapeutic failure. Okay, so again, so in enzyme induction also, like if drug is going to be drug is accelerated, so it may lead to the failure of the therapeutic dosage. Okay, then you have seen the first pass effect. Okay, first pass nothing but first pass hepatic metabolism. Okay, it is the biotransformation of some chemical by the liver during the initial pass from the portal circulation after oral administration. Okay, portal circulation nothing but the circulation from the liver. Okay, you know that pulmonary circulation and all those things. So there is also one of the circulation which is known as portal. It will be also helpful or it will be also play a key role in the biotransformation of the some chemical. It will be helpful during the when some of the chemical are passing through the liver when you are consuming the drug after the oral administration. Okay, And then you have seen half life, okay, nothing but T half. It is the time required to reduce the blood concentration of the chemical to the half, okay. So half life, maximum shelf life, all terminology you guys are aware. Then excretion, okay. So excretion, nothing but it is the final mean of chemical elimination, okay, either as a metabolized or unchanged parent chemical, okay. Excretion through the lungs is the major route of for the gaseous substance, and in case of non-volatile soluble drug, water soluble drug, kidney is the most important route of excretion, and additional route include sweat, saliva, tears, nasal secretion, milk, bile, and feces, okay. So these are the major route of drug excretion, and the same step and same process like how it was been there into the pharmacokinetic, like depending upon the glomerular filtration rate, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, all these steps will be remain the same, okay. Only is depending upon, and the same also like what kind of toxic chemical is there, so depending upon that it may eliminate from the body, okay. Then clearance, okay, what is clearance? Elimination of chemical from the body may be described by the term clearance. It is a quantitative measure of the volume of blood cleared of drug per unit time, okay, remember, okay. See, this can be asked into 2 marks question. So clearance nothing but it is a quantitative measure, okay, quantitative, not qualitative. Quantitative nothing but how much drug you have that person has consumed, okay. So depending upon that how much, it is a quantitative measure of the volume of blood clear of drug per unit time. So they will always measure, and it always be expressed how much drug, like it's always depending upon the millimeter per 4 minute, okay. So in per 4 minute how much drug is clearing from the body, it will be known as the clearance. Okay, so clearance can be calculated with the help of this formula, that is nothing but 0.7 in bracket volume of distribution, then T half. Okay, so you need to express as a ml per minute. Okay, so whatever value you are getting for the 4 minute, you can express in then after taking the reading, you can convert into for the per minute. Okay, so where the VD is expressed in the term of milliliter per kilogram and half life is expressed in minute or hour. So all this volume, all these parameter having their own values. Okay. So certain points regarding the toxicokinetic of toxic agent you have to remember, like drug absorption after a toxic injection may be delayed and prolonged, okay. So whatever drug you are taking after any kind of toxic substance, if it can be delay is toxic effect, okay, or it can be having the prolonged duration of effect. Why? Because if there is a chance of that enzyme inducer or enzyme inhibitor, okay. So depending upon that you have to choose a particular or systemic elimination route technique, so it will be helpful in the elimination of the drug toxic substance from the body, okay. Then you have to remember the second point, the half life and total body clearance are often lengthened, okay. So what will happen sometime whenever you are taking any toxic substance, so we have seen in the absorption parameter, okay. See, drug may pass through the unchanged form and it will be not reach to the systemic circulation as it is, okay. So there will be chance some of the drug may bind to the protein, okay. So it's like you have seen some drug will be remain into the plasma, so there will be chance they may show the drug effect again for a prolonged period of time. So what will happen if they are showing the effect for prolonged period of time, so there will be chance that half life and total body clearance may also be delayed, or for a prolonged period of time you can see the effect of that toxic substance, okay. The third point will be liver metabolizing enzyme may become saturated, slowing hepatic elimination. Obviously, all toxic substances are going and metabolized into the liver. Okay, it becoming dumping yards to the liver. Okay, so there will be chance of rupture of cells on all those things. So it may help. It may again delay the elimination of drug via the hepatic elimination. Okay, then you can see chemicals with large volume of distribution are often highly tissue bound and measured to enhance their eliminations are not effective. Okay. So obviously, see, large volume of distribution of chemicals are highly tissue. Obviously, they will bind and their elimination will not take place at a particular time. Okay. And poor perfusion of the liver and kidney secondary to the toxic effect of the substance may slow clearance. Okay. Poor perfusion, nothing but again reabsorbing of the drug. Okay. So by the liver and kidney, so there will be chance that substance may not clear from the body at a particular time, or it may having into the body for prolonged period of time, and it may show its toxic effect. Okay, here you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'll share these two slides. So as I've seen in the feedback, some of you asked like again regular test and all those things. So this 6 unit I covered. Okay. So what I'll give you the assignment to the Siddharth by evening today. So you go through that assignment. Okay, and do it and mail me by tomorrow. Okay. Okay, Siddharth.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll share you the assignment. Please share to your classmates. So by tomorrow, everyone should mail me, and when we have the next class, we'll discuss about the whatever the assignment chapter which are question which I have given, or if any doubt will be there, you can ask me. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, dear. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.